So does Wedge not own his X-Wing, but Luke does, I guess? Do they just give, like, thanks for blowing up the Death Star, here's an X-Wing?
He's supposed to give it back, but everyone's just too afraid to ask for it.
He's just got, like, empty cans and beer bottles in it, and they're like, oh, you can have it. You can have it.
The idea of the little door opening up, just beer cans toppling out.
Hello there, you found the Lost Holocron, an ancient artifact of lore and legends from a galaxy far, far away. Each transmission of the Lost Holocron, you will join an episodic discussion of media from the Star Wars universe. We will be your guides. First up, we have a Guardian, Kyle.
Wasn't me.
A Sentinel, Scott.
Every day I worry, all day.
And a Consular, Stuart.
Howdy, Sojourner.
I'm Tim, an actual Jedi Knight who follows the teachings of the Order and not a video game mechanic.
Betrayed.
Today we will be covering the material up to and including Chapter 17 of Dark Force Rising. Okay, Scott, what happened so far?
I don't know, but I'm really worried about it. In the twilight of the Galactic Civil War, both sides are hurting for warships, and a fleet of long-lost dreadnaughts has been found. Talon Karrde believes he has uncovered the location of the Katana Fleet, an innovative line of slave circuit integrated ships infamously lost on its maiden voyage just before the outbreak of the Clone Wars. He has been awaiting the opportunity to make his payday, but unknown to him, someone else has started selling the ships to an independent Corellian faction led by ex-Imperial, ex-Rebel Garm Bel Iblis. While waiting over Endor, Leia Organa Solo blacks out while she experiences a force echo left by the death of the Emperor. She, Chewbacca, and C-3PO leave the Millennium Falcon over Endor to travel to the Noghri Homeworld with Khabarakh. She hopes to negotiate a truce by leveraging her pedigree as Darth Vader's daughter, the Noghri's original and seemingly more honourable master. The current Imperial leader, Grand Admiral Thrawn, loomed over Honoghr as a reminder of the Noghri's failure to yet capture Organa Solo. That was until Imperial Intelligence identified the Millennium Falcon over Endor. Mara Jade is an ex-Imperial high-level operative that was connected through the Force directly to the Emperor. After his death, she disappeared from Imperial space and eventually came under the employment of smuggler Talon Karrde. After reluctantly harboring Luke Skywalker from the Imperials on Merkur, the subterfuge culminated in a showdown to suppress Imperial intel reaching Thrawn, but the Grand Admiral is not lightly deceived. Karrde's entire operation was forced to go on the run. And okay, Consular Stuart. What happened in Chapter 17?
Mara collects Karrde's ship impounded in the Obligado Ray spaceport freed by Wedge on behalf of Han Solo. As she leaves, she is intercepted by a Star Destroyer. To avoid detainment, she dons her old Imperial demeanor, identifying herself with a high-level Imperial recognition code, and demands to be taken directly to the Grand Admiral himself. To her horror, the rendezvous is over Endor, and in Thrawn's chambers aboard the Chimera, Thrawn thoroughly verifies her previous identity as the Emperor's hand. Dodging the question of her return to the Empire, Mara experiences a psychic echo of the Emperor, demanding that she kill Luke Skywalker. Thrawn seeks information about Skywalker's escape from the planet Merkur, wanting to know how much is attributed to Karrde, but Mara deflects again to offer information about the Katana Fleet in exchange for immunity. Mara overplays her hand, and Thrawn reveals that she is only one of many hands. He grants her 8 days to return with the location of the Dark Force before releasing her with one final jab about her desertion from Imperial service. As the Millennium Falcon is brought aboard, Pellaeon and Thrawn discuss the re-emergence of the Katana Fleet. They know it has been found independently by at least 2 parties. Thrawn has no interest in actually honoring Jade's offer, instead orders the Chimera to track her back to Karrde's hideout, telling Pellaeon that she is unworthy of Imperial grace. In pursuit of the ex-Emperor's hand, they reroute Nars Feria to track down Solo and Calrissian to interrupt the possible merger of the 2 rebel groups.
The biggest difference between the last book for me and this book is that I'm really excited for every Mara POV now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Much better.
Yeah.
Also, can Thrawn just not remember women? Why is he like he remembers everything else about that night? He can't just tell that it is the same person. I'm a little confused. Did I miss something?
I kind of feel like it's a flex though. He's kind of like, I just have to prove. I feel like he's just flexing. Like I have to prove myself. Just because
you think he's trying to put her in her place?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a very
Maybe. I feel like the 8 days was the power move. I feel like there's no. I feel like there's no motive behind the 8 days. I think he just threw out a random number.
Yeah.
To kind of put the pressure on it, because obviously he didn't care how long she took. He was just going to follow her anyway.
Yeah. I mean, 8 days, if it takes 3 days to get there and supposedly 3 days to get back, then she's only got 2 days to convince Karrde that he needs to give up that Katana Fleet.
I think it was a tight number to seem reasonable that she could potentially do it just to get her to leave so that he could follow her. I think that's all that was. But I don't know. I don't know if it was a flex. It seems weird. I don't know.
No, I
it
feel
was
like
just a weird thing. It's like, what brooch were you wearing that night? I have an assortment that look very similar to it. On the ready.
I don't know. To me, it did feel like, I don't know, putting her in her place or something like that. It did feel like that to me a little bit. Like he knew exactly. I feel like he knew exactly who she was. He just had to
building up to his own reveal.
Yeah.
I feel like like in the last chapter, was it the last chapter or the chapter before, some Han and Lando were talking about that maybe Bel Iblis was an Imperial plant that was made to look like the actual Garm. And so I have a feeling that like the technology is actually that you can face swap people. And so you can get elaborate disguises, people that are just surgically altered to look like these things, and so you need to identify them more than just by looking at them.
Do you think Star Wars would go so low to just have someone be like a body double for someone else, though? Doesn't seem like something Star Wars would do.
I can't tell if you're being serious or not, because I think that is a thing that comes back.
I'm joking. Yeah,
okay.
It's in the movie.
Time for them to bust out the Mission Impossible face masks.
Oh God.
Just face off next chapter.
Oh man, I can't wait for Nick Cage to show up in the next chapter.
I know. Yeah.
I can't wait for Nick Cage in Star Wars.
Honestly,
I don't know.
He'd do it. Someone has to pay the IRS.
Yeah.
Right.
We've been over it, and the conclusion was yes, he would kill it, and all of the dissenters should shut up.
He used to bug the crap out of me, but now like the last stuff he's been doing has actually been really good.
Yeah.
Like,
do you feel like he would make a good Sabayoth?
Oh. God damn. All right.
I think the real turning point for Nick Cage with me is I saw an interview with him where he was doing a role. He was talking about a role and how they hired him to do it, and they were like, "Hey, you're not really. Could you like play it up a little?" And he's like, "Oh, you want the full Cage." so very self-aware of who he is and what people want from him.
Yeah.
I
A lot of people get typecast like that, though.
I think I called it earlier that orders Mara definitely had the Emperor scream in her head this chapter.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
To kill Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Old orders coming in, active orders. Did the Wi-Fi signal reconnect?
Yeah.
Yeah, or was it just something left over from his death that he was just like, curse Luke Skywalker, and then anybody who walks through that space.
Especially since they're around like all those echoes in the Force
ghosts and echoes and everything. Yeah. It's like the Naked Gun movie where they push the button and they're just like, I must kill.
Oh, yeah.
I like this chapter. It was fun.
This
I
one
would
was
like
pretty
when
cool.
she started immediately gaslighting the captain of the other ship as soon as he was caught.
Uh-huh.
I like how she's talking to the guy in the spaceport and suddenly just out of nowhere it's Wedge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Surprise
quick
Wedge.
cameo.
Yeah.
Just wedged his way into the story.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, how can we wedge him in? Oh, I know. I got the perfect role for him.
I like that he's like a second-rate undercover agent, and he's having fun being like, "Hey, I'm playing a secret agent here,"
Yeah.
and
He's
she's
like,
just
"Hey, I
rolling
got-"
her eyes, going,
Yeah,
"Oh, I really hate this." What do they call it? A double countersign or something like that?
yeah,
Yeah, I really like seeing that because we haven't seen like much of his personality.
yeah.
He's just been that guy in the ship who is really good at doing the ship things.
Yeah. But then when he gets a little camera time, he makes the most of it.
He does,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's a good guy.
He is. He's reliable. That's his main personality trait.
Mr. Congeniality.
Mr. Congeniality. Yeah.
I can't remember. He briefly showed up at the end of the last book, right? Or was it the start of this one? No, he was definitely in the end of the last one.
Yeah, he was in the big space battle at the end, right?
Yeah.
I think he was in it a couple times. I think
Yeah,
there was that other skirmish with fake Falcon, and I think he was part of that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was part of that too, and he was in the beginning of this book as well when they were like, "I'm going to scrap my X-wing to give it to you, so that your X-wing can get out of here." But then, like, he legally couldn't do that, and they were like, "Oh, so what are we going to do now?"
So does Wedge not own his X-wing, but Luke does? I guess.
Yeah, Luke owns his
Is it because?
X-wing, but
I guess because
Wedge's
Wedge is
X-wing.
still in service to the.
Yeah, so I think that's technically the property of the New Republic.
Did they just give, like, thanks for blowing up the Death Star, here's an X-wing?
I think
he's supposed to give it back, but everyone's just too afraid to ask for it.
He's just got like empty cans and beer bottles in it, and they're like, "Oh, you can have it. You can have it."
The idea of the little door opening up, just beer cans toppling out.
He moves his legs to get out, and you hear everything rattle. It's all like spilling over as he's climbing out.
And R2's just sloshing back and forth with all his pee and shit.
Oh, we never considered that. We talked so long about where Luke Skywalker pees. We never considered that it goes into R2-D2.
We did actually. Scott considered it.
Oh,
Yeah,
we did? Oh.
Yeah. Septic tank R2.
Oh, God. Star Wars is a magical universe.
It is. And then when he gets in the X-wing, it's like he's getting into a ball pit. So things really escalated for Mara in this chapter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Still in Wedge for a little bit. Do you think that like she definitely saw Wedge? Do you think this was kind of like the second chapter of the first book, that Wedge is just like this obvious like I'm playing secret agent here, while in the background the real secret agent of what's the guy, the no face?
Oh crap.
I'll give you a hint, starts with letter P.
Page?
Yeah.
No, or was that?
Do you think
wasn't that Wedge's? Wasn't that Wedge's code name?
No. He was the actual secret agent. So, yeah. Do you think Paige was in the background, unknown, unseen in this?
Possibly.
Maybe he was the one like getting the ship prepared and ready to go. Like, but he's doing it like so stealthily that nobody knows it. Nobody sees it.
I love the idea of Wedge being there, being sent in as a distraction, so someone else can do the real work in the background.
Oh God! You know what that makes me think of? Have you guys heard of the X-Men character Forget-Me-Not?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Who? I forgot who that is.
His mutant ability is that no one can remember he exists. They can recognize, they can like talk to him and interact with him, but they just can't remember he was there. And so the joke is that every time the X-Men have like a completely dumb bit of luck happen, it was Forget-Me-Not doing something, and they all just forgot. Yeah.
When they talk to him again, do they remember who he is, or do they have to?
No,
Like,
you
No,
have to
they don't.
figure out
They
who
have
he
to
is. You
reintroduce
have to explain
themselves?
it every time.
Yeah. Professor
they-
X like put a psychic reminder
sticky
in his
notes or
mind
something.
to remind himself that he exists every hour. Yeah.
So he's just show up there, and they're like, "Wait, why are you wearing a uniform? Who are you?" Every single time, and then it's like,
No,
"Don't worry, I'm
he's
here to
just
help
there,
you
but they
guys."
don't even notice. He's just there the whole
He's just in
time. Yeah.
That is the worst power.
It is.
It could be actually really powerful too
He can
in
walk
the right
into any
situation.
room, literally.
It's
go
not the
wherever
worst
he
power.
wants
There's
on
a lot
Earth.
of really bad powers.
Yeah.
Like who that? I think it's on Far Off Boy.
Oh my
Whose
God,
power is
yeah.
that he has detachable arms.
Yeah. From Suicide Squad, right?
He was in Suicide Squad as well.
Yeah, played by Nathan Fillion.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
No way.
that's right.
Yeah. And his like arms would float when they detached, and he would like send them and punch people from afar. He could like telekinetically move them.
That's kind of cool.
It is.
All right, that seems a lot better than being forgotten at every
Yeah.
moment of your life.
I don't know.
Honestly, though, the mutant that I pity the most is Glob Herman. His whole thing is that his entire physiology is just a gelatinous blob that's flammable. And you can see
That's
all his
flammable.
organs like floating in it. And that's it. That's his mutation.
Can he like go down like storm drains and like reform himself and shit?
I
And, like,
don't know. I don't think so, actually. I think it's literally his body. I think the flammability of it is his only advantage.
does it hurt him or not?
Good
Like when he
question.
catches on fire?
This is a very good question.
He's like Human Torch, but a blob. Human flaming puddle.
Oh,
Or it could
dang,
be
his
like-
skeleton is in there too.
Oh,
All right, powers.
so that would prevent
Wax
him from going
physiology.
Hang on, real quick. I'm already on his Wikipedia for Forget Me Not, and you want to know what the main thing he uses his power for? Travel on trains without buying tickets.
Yeah, that is a smart man. Glob Herman has a wax physiology. It's highly flammable, so he can light himself on fire, and then he can fling bits of himself. And he also has superhuman strength, speed, and durability to the point where he was able to resist a bomb that was designed to blow up the Xavier Institute.
Oof.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can't blow him up.
I was wondering if like he leaves like a slime trail or something that you can light on fire.
Maybe he does.
Like a waxy trail or something.
Yeah.
He actually showed up in X-Men 97.
Oh,
Did
did he?
what?
Yeah, he was on Genosha.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
He was hanging out with some other mutant kids.
Oh no. Does that mean he got killed? Well,
I hope not.
spoilers for X-Men 97.
How dare you?
Cut it.
God.
Well, I'd imagine he would probably survive because if he survived one bomb, he'd.
I don't know, that Wild Sentinel.
Well, true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Glob Herman.
Isn't there another X-Men character who I think his power is that he just gives off so much radiation that anyone within like 100 yards of him just explodes. He just annihilates cooks.
What? Yeah,
like,
wasn't that in?
Wait.
Like microwaves or something. Like a
It
microwave?
was like a short. I think it was like a short bit because they sent Wolverine to kill him.
Yeah.
They were just like, he's too dangerous, and they just kill him.
Wait, is
Really? Whoa.
it Chamber?
I can't remember. I just have a memory of some like he's like a teenager and his powers activate and like he just starts killing everybody in his town instantly.
Everyone's getting radiation sickness. Wasn't that also a thing in Heroes as well?
Yeah,
It's been
there
a long
was
time
a
since
guy
I
with
watched Heroes.
radiation.
Was there?
Yeah, and then like people get captured at one point, and the guy with the horn rim glasses, I can't remember his real name, but like the guy who ends up being the dad, he's like, what you got to do this thing, but make it an EMP, make it bright, not hot, and they bust out of prison by.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, because was it the older brother who would go like nuclear?
Yeah. Oh
Is that who
yeah,
you're
he was
thinking
the
of?
one that. Yeah,
Right.
he was the guy that they were trying to stop in the beginning, at the end of the first season, because that was
Yeah.
what the guy was having the visions about.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Save the cheerleader, save the world.
Yeah.
I should rewatch that first season. It's been a bit.
Yeah.
I wonder if it holds up.
I think so. I think I watched it not a few years ago, and the first season, yeah, good. Thumbs up.
Heck yeah. All right. It's on the watch list.
Okay, yeah. So in one of the Marvel comics, Jay, his only mutant ability is releasing a series of deadly toxins, acids, and poisons through his skin, which kills everybody in it. It consumes all organic tissue within a certain radius of him.
Holy crap.
Jesus.
So I think that's a shitty power.
So it's not necessarily radiation, but poisons and toxins.
Yeah, that's the worst. I'd want them to send Wolverine after me too.
Couldn't Xavier done something though? Like just like
with Cerebro,
brain dead or something. Right.
Maybe.
Yeah, but even if he's brain dead, he'd still be releasing the toxins, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, who knows if he's
in the X-Men movies, he could kill people with his psychic powers.
Oh yeah.
Or from afar.
Yeah.
With Cerebro. Yeah.
Well, also in the X-Men movies, they also had the gun that could take away your powers if you shot them or something like that in Last Stand.
Yeah.
Like the plastic guns that shoot syringes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that a reoccurring thing though in the X-Men universe?
Yeah, they showed it
stories.
Spoiler alert, they showed it in 97 too, but they didn't.
But that was like a blast of radiation, not a syringe.
Well,
not a serum, yeah.
It's still a gun though.
Yeah,
true. Yeah. So that
depowering gun.
That technology is reoccurring in that universe.
Super off topic, but the radiation gun just makes me think of in the Holocron TV show.
We're already off topic.
They're in some sort of shootout, and Holocron just picks a random gun up off a table and shoots like a random henchman. And like, wait, what was that? And then they look at it, and it's like cancer gun or something like that. And he's like, "Oh God, I have to go see my family."
There's a random scene in Venture Brothers too, where like these two random henchmen are like just wildly firing their guns, and then one of them runs out of bullets and he throws it, and the other guy is like, "What are you doing? We have more bullets." And the other guy's like, "It just looks so cool." He's like, "Well, go get it. Go get it."
Yeah, John Wick has pulled that move several times in the movies.
That's funny.
All right, so should we go back to the
how things escalated really quickly for Mara?
Let's keep talking about
please, let's do
it. Oh my goodness.
Time for a surprise Kyle file.
No, sorry, I was really into William Castle today. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
All right. The escalation of Mara Jade situation.
Yeah, I love how she's just like going to this meeting, then all of a sudden, oh, you're with the Empire.
Yeah.
And we are taking you very far away.
Yeah, to the last place in the universe that she wants to go.
Yeah.
Right.
When I was reading this, a line from earlier in the book came up where Karrde was like, "We never have to give up the Katana Fleet, but we may choose to give it up."
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like in this chapter, like Mara's choice to both elect to go with the Empire, and then everything that she does to tell Thrawn about what's going on, it feels like she's very reactive and not very in control of the situation. So it does feel like she's being carried by the situation. She is not doing anything to, like, her choice to give up her identity is not really her choice. She was forced to do that. And yeah, I feel like, we saw that all unravel because she wasn't in control of the situation, whereas Thrawn was very much in control of the situation. And even she's like, oh, I see you've got your Calamari here, and you know what that's like for Force sensitives, right? And she has no suspicion that this is a contingency about Sabaoth, not that it's a weapon against Luke.
It seems like every time she's with the Empire, she's not in control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it started with the Emperor, and now Thrawn has all the leverage.
Yeah. And even when the Empire showed up on Merkur as well, she wasn't in control of that situation. She suddenly had to let go and give over to Luke.
You would think that, she would then enjoy the self-actualization that comes from the Emperor being killed, but no. She's just been grumpy.
Well, I think she had stability and purpose and, direction.
That's
in
true.
that. Whereas she hasn't had a stable situation to truly find self-actualization.
Oh, that's
after that.
true. Yeah.
She's just been scrambling ever since, and harrowed by whatever Force torture she's going through or has been through. That I don't feel like she has the groundwork there, the base to discover who she is.
Luke's a stable situation.
I don't know. I feel like she has kind of found her own ground only now that, everything's getting shooken up, that she now has to scramble. It seemed like she was doing pretty well with Karrde.
Yeah, I guess that was kind of a stable situation for her.
Now, obviously not. Everything's gone to hell. And we keep coming back to this, like, oh yeah, Karrde knows where the Katana Fleet is. He saw it years ago in the middle of space, and no confirmation that he's checked on it since. He's just like, oh yeah, I've seen that random spot. It'd be like if someone's like, hey, do you have like $5? I was like, no, but 2 weeks ago I saw some rolling across the road. Let me go get it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing stays in the same spot in space.
At the same time, though, that's the only lead they have. Until we find Bel Iblis, but...
Right, yeah. So I just don't know why he's so confident that it's still there. It feels like a big flaw. And it seems like, no, it sounds like somebody else has found it. And like that is going to be a link to the story. But we are still Karrde, Mara Jade, and I guess Thrawn doesn't know it at this point. But like Karrde's just like, yeah, I know exactly where I saw them.
Didn't he say, though, he went back to check once things cooled off?
Did he?
To confirm?
I don't remember that.
I feel like he went back to confirm that it was, like, it wasn't recent, but like after all that went down with the first time, he went back to confirm that it was the Katana Fleet. But like you said, somebody could have picked up that $5 in the last 20 years.
Right. Has it been 20 years? I wanted to say 20 years, but I was giving the benefit of the doubt and was thinking maybe 4 years ago.
No, it's definitely longer than that.
20 years ago.
Yeah, he seemed like a young smuggler from what I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I saw a penny on my ground when I was in high school. Let me just go get it real quick. No.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lucky penny, that one.
Right, yeah.
Speaking of ships drifting in space, poor Falcon. It's just in orbit around Endor.
No, they picked it up. They're searching it now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Convenient for plot purposes.
Right.
Great.
Not only that, it's now going to be on board the ship, Kyle, as you predicted.
Right. Always.
Oh my god.
It always is. And like, why not?
Mm.
Because you have to search it for evidence. Who knows if anything's actually going to come from that line of, hey,
Mm.
let's search it for evidence. That's the why they have it on the ship. Is anything going to come from that? Who knows? We'll see.
They're gonna have
Yeah,
to give it a
and-
deep clean first.
Yeah, and let's leave it in perfectly good running condition too. Well, don't take off the battery cable or anything. Just
What if they put the decoy Falcon in orbit?
Oh, they should do that.
They should.
Thrawn's like, "You idiot! You captured the Millennium Falcon stub double."
I either want the decoy Falcon in space, or I want a line from Han or Chewbacca when they get on the ship to escape. They're like, "Oh, they fueled it up for us."
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to get a line when from like Imperials to say something about, what was it in Empire Strikes Back, where C-3PO is like, your ship speaks the most peculiar dialect of binary.
Yeah. Rest in power, L337.
A dialect of binary? Does that mean there's like a 2 in there or something?
Yeah,
Do you
how would a
want an
dialect of binary
explanation do you want an explanation of how binary actually works, or?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
No,
I
it's
wanna learn
it's
this.
a Futurama
Southern
joke.
accent to it.
I'm making a Futurama joke because he has a nightmare in binary. He's like, I think I saw it too.
Oh,
Does
yeah.
it use a different font for the zeros and ones?
Some are italicized.
So I can't remember. There's 2 types of operating systems. There's a Unix-based operating system, and Kyle, you might be able to help me out on the other one. I want to say it's not Windex-based.
Windex.
Windex-based operating system.
Yeah.
Unix or Linux, maybe. But basically, when you start up a computer, it has different. Everything has to set up how to read the things that come afterwards, and so conceivably, you are just setting up different protocols of how to engage with the ones and zeros that come in the actual code itself. So it just depends how you want to encode a lot of that stuff, because some stuff would have different, like, encoding, but also encryption as well is a way that it could be done. So
it's just how the functions are carried out is the different dialect.
yeah, that's what I would guess.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because it's not just, if you go to your browser and go for a binary decoder or encoder, open up the website, type anything into it, it's just going to give you a bunch of ones and zeros. But that's just a standard protocol that humans in the modern day have decided on, that all of our computers can talk to each other because it's like that. But it's very, very reasonable to think that those things are encoding for different things, like a byte being 8 bits. You could have 16 or 32 byte bits in different encodings. So I know when I download my financial statements from Japanese bank accounts, there is different encodings for the information in there. So when I try to open it up in a text editor, it just comes out all garbled. Yeah, so I have to tell the text editor to then open it in a form that's called, I think it's JIS Swift or something like that, rather than UTF-8. And there's like UTF-16 and UTF-32 possibly, but apparently there's a whole ton of protocols that, like, I have no idea about. And so it's just different ways to encode and encrypt information, so that I think particularly because in Japan it would be much more efficient to encode kanji and stuff that's not Roman letters in smaller byte sizes, or in a different way than something that may not be optimized for that writing system or style or whatever.
That's fucking cool. Yeah, I like this stuff.
But I'm not a computer scientist. Please refer to your local computer scientist for a better explanation on these things.
All right, the conclusion I will take from Stuart is that computers are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And quirky as hell.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, it's way over my head.
I'll send you a video later about I think it's called Abstraction is Everything. And that's a video that explains how this kind of like ones and zeros can be built up into images, pictures, videos.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, because I mean, the whole time I'm like, how do you interpret like somebody's music with ones and zeros? It's like, how do the ones and zeros know to make like, you know, that music?
We're not looking at each other right now. We're looking at ones and zeros.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I want to learn how to see into the Matrix.
Check the documents of this episode if you want to see that video as well.
Yeah. So, big reveal. There's a lot of Emperor's hands.
Yeah.
More than one. Massive reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think this is the Dark Jedi that Sabaoth was alluding to in the previous chapter that helped the Emperor and Vader eliminate the Jedi? Or is this another protocol?
Do you mean like the Emperor's Hand program? Not just Mara Jade, but like the Emperor's Hand in general? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like the Emperor's hands, the many hands of the Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
Mara seems to think that she was enacting policy throughout the Empire. She was taking his word and enforcing that throughout the galaxy. So that doesn't particularly seem like it's going out there to hunt down Jedi, but she's also quite young. So there may have been Emperor's hands before her time that were more inquisitorious in nature.
Like maybe the one Yoda killed on Dagobah.
I was under the impression when they were like, there's a lot of Emperor's hands that Mara was under the thought that she was the only one, but really it's just a series of disposable people for the Emperor.
I think I kind of got the impression she thought she was the only one.
Wave after wave with my own hands.
They probably all, you know, in that situation, they probably all think they're the only one.
Right, because that's something the Emperor does, is that he tries to make someone think they're more important to him than they actually are, because he has 3 backups planned for his backups already.
Yeah. I think he needs that too, or the Emperor's hands need that to think that they are special, and then they are going to overcommit themselves to the, you know, they are ride and die, literally, for what they think is like their extreme purpose in the universe. And then if they die, I've got 3 more hands up my sleeve.
Yeah. But also, if they don't know about each other, they can't join forces to overthrow them.
Best at it.
And if that's the case, are they all dead, or is there someone else around in the story who is also an Emperor hand?
I'm sure there are a few of them that are still in hiding. They can't all be dead.
What if Winter's an Emperor's hand?
Ooh.
What if Wedge
was an Emperor's What if Wedge's?
What if Wedge is an Emperor's hand?
No, the Emperor definitely seems like somebody who would only have young, attractive females as his hands.
Yeah.
So Winter.
Right.
Well, we don't know anything. Is she young? I thought she was like...
She was...
Like Leia's age,
when she was the hand, she was.
Yeah, I imagined her in her 20s.
All right.
Yeah.
So they were crash mates, so they're the same age as Leia and Luke.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's true. I don't know. I don't know if she has enough personality to be an Emperor's hand, but maybe that's just her cover.
Do we know how old Mara is? And it hasn't been stated in the books, right?
I'm going to guess 37.
I thought she was somewhere around Luke's age, or maybe a little.
Do we want a risky Wikipedia dive?
I mean, I don't think it's that particularly important. Like, we know from outside context that this is going to be Luke's wife, so they got to be around the same age.
That's what I was thinking too. I didn't want to just say it, but me being the guy that always blows things.
Yeah. I mean, it is the thing she is famous for.
We talked about it before too. And
she is 2 years younger.
Younger?
Huh.
Yeah.
Than Luke?
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Than Luke. And I checked the Legends article on that, so I was sure.
Huh.
Wait, there's a canon article for her?
No, for Luke.
Oh.
Yeah, but I'm sure the age is the same because they're both going off of Revenge of the Sith for that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Star Wars Charlie's Angels.
Palpatine's Angels. Palpy's Angels.
Palpy's Angels, yeah.
Sheev's Angels.
Sheev's Angels.
Sheev, yeah.
Now that's a series that
Is
Disney
Vader
should get on.
Bosley?
Yeah.
Vader's Bosley, yeah.
You know what, speaking of ages, how old do we think that Thrawn is? Because I would have thought that he is older than Peleon, but something makes me feel like he might actually, because he's a renegade, they might either be the same age or possibly younger.
Yeah, I thought Peleon was like in his 50s or so, right? And then
I was
60s. 60s or so. I was thinking Thrawn would be like in his mid to late 40s.
I mean, then the real question is, how long do Chiss live for?
Right, and I was thinking that too.
Maybe he's like 94.
Right. He could be like 2000.
And he's a fresh young teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had the same wondering about the canon stuff reading Thrawn Ascendancy, is that he is, in some of the flashbacks in that book, he's very young as a cadet in the Chiss Ascendancy. And then this is at least a decade. Well, he spends at least a decade in between the memory, the flashbacks and the actual story. And then there's got to be some, like there's 2 books after this as well. And then he goes to the Empire. Does he arrive at the Empire in his 30s? And then after that, in like Ahsoka, he's supposed to be in his 50s? Or how old was he when he was struggling, kerfuffling with the stuff that was going down on what's the planet name with the kids? No.
Kids?
With the Rebel.
You talking about the
in
Purple?
Rebels?
When he gets
Lothal?
Lothal, yeah. Yeah, so was he like 40 then? Or what was going on? Like, I have no
40
pulse. Yeah, I have no sense of like how old is Thrawn at any point. He's just eternally 30 something.
I think he's eternally
What if they
40
just stop
something.
aging? What if they reach age and they just stop aging?
Like
and then it all hits them at once and they die.
Like the hit movie In Time.
Body decomposes.
Turns like 100 and then like somebody sneezes on him, he just turns to powder.
they all have a painting in their attic that just continually gets older until they
Yeah.
decide to rage on it.
Yep.
I can't take it anymore.
The portrait of Mithranudo, or whatever his name is.
Oh, God.
Ooh, what's this? Oh my goodness.
I was looking at the Chiss, and there's just an image. I don't know if it's from a graphic novel or what, but it's a Chiss ripping off a human face mask to reveal the blue skin underneath it, and it's terrifying.
I thought he was going to put the human face over his.
Well, yeah, that
Like
was
Face
what
Off.
what was that? They were impersoning somebody. Yeah, like Face Off.
Like Face Off.
Cage.
Right.
Oh, I don't like that.
That's creepy.
Yeah. I don't like that at all.
The skin on the forehead looks like bangs.
I like to think that this just was being like, oh man, it's time for my dramatic reveal, but everyone was just like, oh god.
Right. They're just like,
No,
surprise.
guys, take this seriously. They're like, oh, it's disgusting.
It's like, man, that was Tommy's face. Like, you killed him.
Terrifying. Holy shit. I know, whenever it says for Chiss, it just says near human. So I imagine they have a similar life cycle. So I'd say, I don't know, Thrawn's probably in his like late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment.
There's no like common ancestor species for all the humanoids in Star Wars, is there?
Ooh.
Because I think in Star Trek there is, but
I think so. Wasn't the Rakata Empire experimenting on their slaves and created all the different...
Oh.
But I'm not sure. We should look that up at some point and come back to confirm.
For another time.
No, we can do this ourselves. We don't need YouTube. Yeah, I struggle to find good film criticism on YouTube.
No. Star Wars is pretty niche, so.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. All right, so we've got a lot going through these chapters, and this chapter in particular, and I think we've got peak Thrawn when he starts working with Intel, and like he's just really on it, I feel like, whereas in the last chapter he was just making a bunch of assumptions and like, well, they've turned to torture now, and they've deconstructed and reprogrammed Khabarakh's mind. They must be after the Mount Tantus project. I was like, whoa. But he is working very, very hard here, and particularly that he figured out that there is two separate discoveries of the Katana Fleet has been. I'm like, oh yeah, Thrawn's back on it, guys.
Yeah. Dictator Sherlock Holmes is back.
Woo. So he identified that, like, because we wondered, did he recognize the Katana Fleet from the attack? Because Lando did. Well, not from the external of the ship, but Thrawn is like, recognize that these ships are the Katana Fleet because they look kind of different from regular ships because they've got slave circuits in them. And then Palayan was like, oh yeah, that is it. Do you think that with his wounded professional pride from the previous chapter that Niles Ferrier also knows that identified these as Katana ships?
I feel like being run off of slave circuits would probably have a specific tell that like Thrawn and Ferrier would be able to recognize.
Yeah, and Ferrier steals ships for like a living, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. He's got to be on it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has to. Yeah, everyone's just after these ships.
Yeah. And the plot thickens.
Yeah. It is nice having that one thing, like bringing everything together in this book, except for Luke and Sabayoth.
Yeah.
Do
you think Sabayoth is going to be like, well...
Wait, what?
I said I hope the next chapter is Luke and Sabayoth.
Yeah, I'm actually super curious of like what's going on there. Are they training? What's going on?
Beating up,
teaching them how to flex those abs.
Yeah.
Luke's gonna have ripped abs pretty soon.
They're doing CrossFit together.
Fun chapter. I really enjoyed this one. Just a lot of cool stuff going down. I think, I think what the end of this chapter is looking closer and closer. Like it seems like everyone's going to start converging in on each other.
Yeah. Right. So in the last book, I kept saying like they're banging this drum about the shipyard this Lewis Van shipyard for so long. Like, when are they going to get to it? And that was the final showdown of the book. What do you think the final showdown of this book is going to be?
Ooh.
I think it's going to be a skirmish for the Katana Fleet, and we might not even find out who actually gets it
Ooh.
at the end of this book.
Yeah,
What?
I think it's gonna have something to do with the Katana Fleet. Yeah,
I think everyone's going to show up to it because everyone's trying to get to it, and it's going to be a battle for who's getting access to it.
yeah.
That sounds
And
pretty
it's
cool.
probably
I
going to
like
be
that.
Thrawn.
It's gonna be like the news anchor street fight and Anchorman. Everybody's just like,
No, that already happened in Rise of Skywalker.
Because it's happened before, and I might have even it happened earlier in last book where they basically hijacked a bunch of ships from people. Like, I think it's just going to be like a capture the flag game for all of them trying to get out access to pilot these ships, and they might get split up.
Can the slave circuits be hooked up to like a beck and call?
ooh.
We
You
still
think
got
that's
that.
when-
So what if it turns into less a fight for the ships and more a fight for the beck and call?
Ooh,
Like, that's the
okay.
flag, so to speak.
Ooh, what if that's the
Uh-huh.
thing that Lando has had this whole time?
What if
Remember the
Lando's
one he
going to
found?
program it because Lando's programming has already saved us once?
Yeah.
Do you mean the one for Luke? The one that
Yeah,
Luke has?
the one.
Oh, right. Luke has it. So that's how
Oh,
he's
yeah,
going to
Luke
come
has
back
it.
in the story.
Right.
The one from
That's right.
Dagobah.
Lando knew what it
Oh,
was, but Luke
right.
has it. Yeah.
Mhm.
If that's what happens, that is a very sneaky plant.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love the idea. Let's say it is a fight for, like, there's a space battle happening for the Katana Fleet, and Luke just happens to be nearby, being like, "What's this thing doing?" He's just pressing the button. So all of them just teleport away from the battle.
They're like flashing their lights, and then just out of nowhere, they all just like jump to hyperspace.
The hazard lights are flashing. The windshield wipers are going.
Yeah.
The trunk opens up.
It's like.
God, I love this book.
Yeah, because that's what's going to happen. No doubt.
Yeah. Probably.
I don't know. I think part of me just hates the idea that you can summon 3 massive ships with a key fob. It feels like such a grand thing. It'd be like if Thrawn did the orbital strikes by like just pressing a button on a phone
By using a laser pointer.
Right? Yeah.
He's just like sitting on a beach sipping a martini or whatever, and he's just like, oh, I guess I gotta strike down Honoghr or something, and just pushes a button.
This island is ruining my view.
I love the concept of a captain sits down and he goes, shit. And they're like, what's wrong? He's like, I just pressed the button. The whole shit, the fleet's gonna teleport over.
I just butt dialed my beck and call fleet, and they're gonna come hyperspace barreling into us right now.
We got to get everyone out of here. They're gonna hyper jump into everybody. This planet's gonna be gone.
I think because it disappeared because the captain of the fleet slaved everything together and then just jumped to the middle of nowhere while they had that hive virus or the hive virus.
Right, when the zombies took over the ship.
Yeah. And so I feel like that's what it's going to be. They have to fight to get to the command ship. And from there...
They're going to fight zombies.
Dude, honestly,
Yeah,
I love the idea of them fighting each other, and then they get on the ship and realize it's even more of a hellish nightmare in there.
They're gonna have to join forces.
And then they just got to slave up and jump to wherever to take all the ships out of there. So they only need to capture the command ship. But, they're going to be, I don't know, destroying smaller ships along the way, because if the other team gets it, then they don't want them to have a fully functional fleet
I do not think either team is going to get access to the whole fleet. I think this fleet's going to get split up to some degree. Either it's going to
50-50.
get destroyed, or like someone's going to get access to one of them and break whatever the circuit is that connects them. Just I don't think this ends with one of them having all of the cards.
So Bel Iblis has 3 of them. Is that right?
He has 6, but he
6,
was using
okay.
3 at New Cov.
How many are there?
There's supposed to be like 200,
Like 200.
180.
Yeah,
or
200. Yeah.
All right.
Oof.
I'm liking this real
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I love the tension here, the build up.
Yeah.
So excited to see what's next.
Stalemate.
Any final thoughts?
I just want to touch again on how Thrawn has plans within plans, and everybody else is operating on like a plane, whereas he's got like depth to a lot of what he's doing.
Everybody else is playing like 2D chess, and he's playing 3D chess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So he's planning 6 moves ahead, and everything has multiple through lines through it, and whereas everybody is like their next goal is instrumental to the next one, rather than having contingencies that Thrawn just has like, well, that didn't work out. That's okay because I've got a backup over here. Whereas our heroes are like, oh, that didn't work. I need to scramble to find what's the next point.
Yeah, they hyper focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah. But they also have a lot of dumb luck.
Yeah. Well, that's because they've got someone like Paige in their corner.
Yeah.
Or they have
who's Paige
Wedge,
again?
Right.
and I like when Wedge is there and he passes on the message like, are you willing to sell any information about our friend with the eyes? She's like, our friend with the eyes?
Yeah.
It's like, Han said you would know what that means. She's like, I know what that means. Shut up. Do all your friends have eyes?
No, that's a good question.
They have eyes, but do they see?
I believe so. Oh. This has been the Lost Holocron.
I don't know. I really liked the interaction between Thrawn and Mara Jade, and just like, we realized that they knew each other, or at least he knew of her, and I thought that was really cool, their interaction.
Yeah, well, they met that one time, and he remembers everything everything from that evening,
except for what
he remembers everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a much better note to end on. This has been the Lost Holocron. You can find transcripts, links to discussions, and more at our website, lostholocron.com. While you're there, you can learn how you could support the creation of future episodes. Read on, and we will be waiting for you in the next transmission. We would be honored if you would join us.